On this special edition of Lexington Now, mobile COVID-19 testing, the Town Branch Trail, and beating the heat. I'm Neil Noah, and welcome to Lexington Now for the week of July 27th, 2020. COVID-19 numbers continue to spike across the Commonwealth, and in response, the city has partnered with a diagnostic lab to offer testing. Here's how it works and how you can get tested.
Well, we're trying to put the testing in locations where we're seeing the greatest percentage of positives in our population. And that's primarily the Hispanic and the African American population. But the testing is open to anyone that wants to come and get a test.
Testing so far has gone fabulous. We've had a tremendous turnout, which I think was the goal. We are not taking appointments, so we're allowed to, anybody and everybody can come. And we're getting an incredible turnout, I think, as you can see today.
With the health department and with other partners and with the governor's office, trying to provide the services to our population that are needed. And more testing was one of those things. And so it just made sense, for the city to partner up with all these folks to make this available.
We're going to keep going until they stop. So we're here today from 11 to 7. Tomorrow we're noon to 8, and then the next day I think we're 9 to 5. So we're gonna swab as many people as we can. There's no limitations on the amount of tests that are available, so we'll keep going till the last patient comes.
It's free to the person. With the partner we have in Blue Water Labs, they will ask for an insurance card. If you have one, there's an arrangement with the insurance. There's no copay. If you don't have insurance, then that's fine. Then that's picked up by some of the CARES Act money. So there is no cost to the testing. And we're trying to provide information in languages, in Spanish or other languages if necessary. We're trying to explain to everybody what the test is and what it will do for you. And then also how to get your test results. And then also what may happen if you test positive, how you'll be contacted by the health department and all that.
So you have two options. You have the drive-up option, which is why you're seeing the cars, and then you also have the ability to walk up. So someone can park and walk up as well. So those are the two options. It can be compared to the flu test a little bit. It's a different type of swab. It's a nylon flock swab, very flimsy, very small, not as uncomfortable as the flu swab. So I think you can feel good about that. But yeah, it's a nasopharyngeal swab, which you do stick up the nose, and it's more like, I like to tell the children that get tested, it's more like getting a little water up your nose.
All the folks that have come through the line have been extremely appreciative that the service is there. We've not really had any big issues, even like a lot of times the wait is like 50 minutes. And people are happy to do that, to be able to have this service available to them.
We're swabbing a lot of people. So a lot more people are willing to get out to get tested. In the beginning, if they were symptomatic, they'd want to come get tested. We're encouraging everybody to get tested now. This is not if you're just symptomatic and you don't feel well, get tested. But even if a symptom's not an issue for you, come out and get tested. I think in the long run, you'll feel better about where you're at, and then being around the people that may be a little bit more vulnerable.
They'll give you information where you can go to a website, to a link or something else and see your results. So you can kind of see for yourself that negative, and you can print that out so that if you need to take that to your employer, you can.
We are going to be opening up multiple sites with the city. We don't know what those sites are yet, but the goal is to swab as many people as possible. The more tests we get out throughout the community, whether you're asymptomatic or you're symptomatic, please come get tested. And I think the more you do that, the better off we'll be in the long run.
We want to stress the importance of wearing a mask, social distance, washing your hands. All of those things are critically important for us to, take the curve in a different direction than it's going right now. And that we plan to continue this as long as it's needed, and we will be moving locations around throughout the community. So keep watching the health departments in the cities and our Facebook pages and our websites, and you'll be able to keep up with us where we're going.
It was recently announced that construction would begin on the long-awaited Town Branch Commons project. The construction is now underway, and Brandy Peacher, project manager, gives us an update.
So, Town Branch Commons, what is it? It is a linear park and trail system that runs through Lexington's downtown core. It runs along Midland Avenue, starting at Isaac Murphy Memorial Art Garden, runs the full length of Midland Avenue toward Main Street, then it runs the full length of Vine Street as it turns around and goes toward the Lexington Convention Center. So this project's been in the works for, feels like forever, but nearly a decade. And so today, to be standing on the construction site is an exciting moment in this project's history. The planning itself has been quite an experience for us all. It started as an international design competition. And so we had 30 plus entries for an international design competition to look at downtown Lexington and how to make a bike and pedestrian friendly corridor while also celebrating our city's history, our sustainability, our water infrastructure, and telling a little bit about who Lexington is and where we started. That competition resulted in Scape Landscape Architects. They are a firm out of New York City, and we're so happy to have had them on board this whole time, and they're still with us today as we finish the construction of the project. Scape's concept for Town Branch Commons was one that was very unique for this project and why they won the competition for the design. They looked at Lexington's history, and they said, we know that Lexington was founded on the banks of the Town Branch Creek. And so if you were to walk along Vine Street today, you see a lot of pavement, you see a lot of concrete and buildings. But many people don't know that below their feet is a large pipe filled with water, and that is the Town Branch Creek. That creek runs below your feet through downtown, and the reason it's hidden is because of many reasons. One, for health reasons. It became a dirty health concern back in the early 1900s, but also because of stormwater issues. We had severe flooding in the downtown core in the early 1900s as well. So to put it in that pipe below our feet is a way to help us function as a city as we are today. But we miss a little bit of that history. And Scape's concept tells that story. The path of the Town Branch Commons will follow the path of that creek where we were first established. We will not be digging up the creek. You will not have a river running through downtown, but you will have instances along its path that will have water and celebrate that moment of our history. There'll be educational moments as well, so you can learn about what we're doing to collect our stormwater, treat our stormwater today differently than we may have back then. But also, as many people know, it's a bike and pedestrian project. So you will have a dedicated bike path on Vine Street and a dedicated pedestrian path on Vine Street, completely separated from the traffic. So behind me, you see cars moving along. We will not reduce the number of lanes. Still the same number of cars can go through downtown. But now, you and I as a runner, a walker, a biker, we can do that off-road. We do not have to worry about coming into conflict with a car. Part of the construction starting was that our contractors needed to shift the traffic away from the construction zone to give them room to do their work. So instead of closing a lane of traffic, they were smart and said, let's just shift the lanes to the final alignment that you will see once Town Branch Commons is completed. So if you drive down Vine Street today, if you're in the left-hand lane, take note. There's a yellow line that you'll be following. That is the new proposed curb line for Town Branch Commons. As the construction occurs, you'll start to see that being built up and the new trees going in and the new infrastructure going in. And it's really neat to see as you drive Vine to see all that space that will be dedicated to the bikers, the walkers, and the new trees that will be going into our downtown core. So right now we're standing on the construction site for Town Branch Commons. We are between Broadway and Mill Street, right on Vine, right in front of the Hilton Hotel. So if you come downtown, you can see there's a lot of torn up sidewalk, a lot of rock, a lot of infrastructure pieces sitting around. And what's happening is our contractors, which is Pace Contracting out of Louisville, they have torn all of this up so that we can rebuild it back into the Town Branch Commons. They're starting here on Vine Street, and they'll be working their way east on Vine. At some point, they will hop back to the Lexington Center because, as you know, that's under construction as well. So there's a lot of coordination going on between those two projects. We started on Vine Street early July, and they will be on Vine Street between Broadway and Limestone through the end of the year doing a substantial part of the work. Then they'll move toward the Transit Center, past Rose Street and on toward Midland Avenue. And so the full project will take place over the next couple of years. You'll see bits and pieces opening up as we continue, but the full completion, all elements in place, will be completed in December of 2022.
After the break, keeping safe in the heat.
Please wear a mask.
Please wear your mask.
Please wear a mask.
Please wear a mask.
Please wear a mask.
Please wear a mask so that the senior center can open soon.
Please wear a mask so I can celebrate my 80th birthday.
So that I can feel safe wherever I go in Lexington.
So we can attend our son's wedding.
To give me the ability to run errands and stay active and independent.
We can seniors get back to our normal routine.
Welcome back to Lexington Now. Summer heat doesn't stop for anything, not even a pandemic. And John Bobel of Emergency Management has some tips to stay safe. John, what can people do?
Well, one of the most important things to stay safe in hot weather is to stay hydrated. A lot of people forget that with the heat sometimes comes humidity, and as the humidity increases, it becomes harder to sweat. So your body stops having the optimum ways to lose heat and regulate heat internally. So if you're dehydrated and there's high humidity, your internal temperature can rise to dangerous levels. So the best way to stay hydrated is with water. Alcoholic beverages and caffeinated beverages actually cause you to lose water more quickly. They're what are called diuretics. To stay hydrated, water's always the best thing. Just good old H2O is the best way to stay hydrated. Everybody's heard the weather forecasters talk about the muggies. That's when the temperature's high and the humidity starts to rise. The heat index, in fact, can rise to 105, 110. Now you're getting into the dangerous area. It's not only the heat, it's the humidity. The body loses its ability to regulate temperature, and now you can be into serious trouble. And this is particularly important for the very, very young, the very, very old, and those who may have some sort of chronic illness. Those are the people who need to stay indoors. They need to stay within an air-conditioned environment. You can't stay in a building where there's no air conditioning. The problem there is you start getting into conditions of heat exhaustion. The most severe form of that condition is called heat stroke, where all of a sudden you start losing cognitive ability. You lose the ability to think straight. Your body starts cramping up. There are other physiological symptoms that come from just being too hot. Your internal temperature starts to rise. You lose the ability to sweat. Your skin becomes hot and dry. You look red. You look flushed. You are beginning to die. Your body starts shutting down. Your functions start shutting down, and you're in serious trouble. If you suspect somebody either has heat exhaustion or heat stroke, get them to the hospital, get them to urgent care, get them someplace where there's trained medical professionals who can treat the symptoms. Every year throughout the United States, we see cases of people who unintentionally leave young children in cars. It's been approximately 40 deaths this year of children who are left in cars. The internal temperature of a car gets very, very hot very, very quickly. The child's unable to respond to that heat, and they succumb to it. You need to leave something important in the back seat with the child. It's all a reminder that people get rushed, people get in a hurry, and you simply forget. Never ever leave a child in a locked car, not even for a minute.
Many of our usual summer activities have been canceled or postponed, but Parks has a few activities you can enjoy with your friends and family, even if you don't take part in your usual summer fun.
Anthony Jackson with Lexington Parks and Recreation, and today we'll be making dyed play rice. Why dyed colored rice? Because it does not mush into carpet and is easy to vacuum up, unlike sand and other sensory materials, which is an absolute mess. The materials you'll need to make dyed play rice is uncooked rice, Ziploc bags, assorted food coloring, and water. When dealing with food coloring, make sure you wear gloves. The first step, begin by pouring 1 cup of uncooked white rice into your bag. The next step, combine your food coloring with 2 tablespoons of water. I like to use 25 drops so my colors are vibrant. I'll be doing purple colored rice. To make my purple colored rice, I'm going to use 12 drops of blue and 13 drops of red. Now, pour your dye solution and water into the bag. The water helps to saturate the rice grains to use less dye. Seal the bags and have kids mix and shake the grains until fully saturated. Once happy with the color of your rice, open the bag and leave the rice to dry. There's no need to take the rice out of the bag as it will dry in 4 to 6 hours. But to accelerate drying, pour the rice onto parchment paper or a paper plate and allow it to dry for 1 hour. Once dry, return to the bag and have the kids break up the rice. Today, I will be showing you how to make ice cream in a bag. The ingredients you'll need for homemade ice cream in a bag is pure vanilla extract, 1/2 and 1/2, sugar, ice cream rock salt, and ice. First step, pour 1 cup of 1/2 and 1/2 into your small Ziploc bag. Next, add 1 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla to your 1/2 and 1/2. Next, you'll add 1 tablespoon of sugar. If you have a sweet tooth like me, you want to add a little bit more. Next, you want to seal the bag firmly so that all the air is out. Mix your solution. In your large Ziploc bag, you want to fill it halfway with ice. Then you'll add 1/4 cup of your rock salt. Then add your small bag filled with your ice cream mixture into the larger bag of ice. Make sure you get some ice on top of the bag. Then you'll want to shake your larger bag for 6 minutes. Be sure to wear gloves while shaking your ice bag because it gets pretty cold. Once your hands have thawed out, take the small bag out of the large bag and rinse with cold water. Be sure to rinse the top of the seal so no salt gets in your ice cream. Your ice cream will be a little icy when you open the bag, so be sure to stir it up a little bit. After stirring, your ice cream will soften up. The last and final step is to enjoy your hard work.
Council is on summer break and most regular meetings at City Hall continue to be suspended until further notice due to the pandemic, but some have been meeting virtually. Lex TV is covering several virtual meetings live. Check our website for the most accurate, up-to-date coverage of city business. We're here to keep you up to date on our official COVID-19 response site. Simply click on the banner at the top of our homepage. That's all for now, but as always, you can keep up with us on social media, check out the latest traffic updates on Twitter @LexRex, or catch our live traffic cams on LexingtonKY.gov. For all of us at Lex TV, I'm Neil Noah, and that's it for now.